Making history with each new find in Tom's world every time. Tom's on the hunt, Tom's on the prowl, with a can in hand and a curious plan. World secrets to be found in Tom's world now. Tom's World How.
Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another live edition of This is Tom's World. I hope you are all doing well today. Yesterday was a very, very awesome day. So for those of you that don't know, which I find it hard to believe for as much as I've put it out there. I mean, I've not been obnoxious with it, but I have put it out there quite a bit. That I did do a meet and greet yesterday over in the garden at Serovia. Kate, what's going on? What's going on, Joe? Excuse me. The beers have already made me burp a little bit. But and I only had one sip of the beer since I started this. I did mow the front lawn today, so I did have a couple while I was doing that. But anyway, so yeah, yesterday was an awesome day. And I had to have 20 some people, maybe close to 30 at one point. But to be fair, a lot of people were brought with other people. But still, it was very cool. And that number is like in total, because there were some people that came and left, and it was a great day. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. I was super nervous going into this. I was for like since I first announced it, but the closer it got to it, the more nervous I got. And hopefully that didn't show through too much. So it was definitely fun. It was different to actually be talking to people in front of me instead of just a camera. There was a time where, as I was talking, my mind started like floating above my body. I don't know how to explain that. But you know, I was still able to control what I was saying, of course. But it was awesome. Hey, Jeep Girl, what's going on? Yeah, it was very awesome, man. It was a good time. What's up, Scott? How you doing, man? Thank you again for all your help. But I think it was a good time had by all. Now, I do understand that there were some people that I was not able to talk to one-on-one with. I did try to get around before I started doing my less censorship than Facebook. Well, in my videos, it's always PG. But I lost my train of thought. But so I did try to get around to as many people as I could. I know that there were some people there that I was not able to talk to one-on-one, and I do apologize for that. Thanks, brother, man. I appreciate it. I keep losing my train of thought. So I did try to get around to as many people as I could. I was trying to get to other people that I saw that I did not get to talk to. But before I knew it, it was time to start doing my little talk, basically talking about the history of the place and the Logans themselves and the locations of the buildings and what still exists in the park and what doesn't. And before I knew it, it was just like a whirlwind of things, and just that quick it was over. For me, it seemed like mere minutes, even though it went on for about 2 hours, I guess, because it was around 5-ish when everybody started to file out, or just before, and hey, you know, sometimes it's attached, sometimes it's not. But yeah, it was around 5, just before 5 or around 5 when everybody started to file out a little bit. And it took me, even though I had help, it took me like a good hour to wrap everything up and get back to my car. And then I had to get back home because I had to make sure Dad was taken care of for dinner, so I ordered Chinese because he likes Chinese a lot. So he got his roast pork and broccoli with pork fried rice, and he was a happy guy. But yeah, it's for as nervous as I was, I'm really surprised at how quickly the entire few hours went by. I felt like I got there early. I was there at 12:30, and I was like bringing out all the chairs and everything, even though nobody really needed them, which was cool. I wanted them to be there, and I had my cooler full of water so that I made sure to try to let everybody know, hey, there's water there if you need any. There was benches all over the place, well, 4 benches, but it was I think it was very cool, and I hope that you all did have a good time. She sure was. She was just in her phone the whole time, but that's okay, man. She was there. Even though she didn't really look around at the garden too much, she was there. So at least she could say she was there. Does who like? I don't know who you're talking about. Me, I like Kenny Biddle. Come to find out that he was in Philly this weekend, and I guess he doesn't pay too much attention to my posts and stuff like that to know that I was doing a meet and greet. Would have been cool if he was there, but hey, things happen. That's it. Yeah. Hey, we were all there at one point. We had that. God, Mom, Dad, you're embarrassing me. Stop. Like that whole thing. Yeah, we love Kenny. Kenny's awesome. If it wasn't for Kenny, I wouldn't have this logo, this logo, or this up here. He did help me out with that. Hey, Suzanne, what's going on? Yeah, it did fly by. Thank you so much for letting me know it was informative. As I said, I was very nervous, and even when I was doing that, the little lecture, if you want to call it that, it was very strange to have all these physical eyes on me as I'm talking. That was like, it was like a euphoric feeling, for lack of a better explanation. Like I said earlier, it was like my mind was floating above my body, but it's different, I mean, normally it's just me and my camera, and this was definitely different. Oh, your husband knows Kenny Biddle. How about that? Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Aunt Rose, I will do it again at some point. I'm not sure when. It probably won't be until the end of the summer season, probably, to be honest, because from this coming weekend on, it's going to be really, really hard on Sundays, which are the only days that I can do this, because I get off Sundays and Mondays, and my Mondays are occupied with taking my dad for his doctor's appointments, his weekly doctor's appointments over at Jeans. So it makes it tough to do it any other day. And Sundays at the park, when the pool is open, which opens this coming weekend, it's going to be tough for anybody to find parking, and it's going to be really crowded and really loud. And so it probably won't be until after the pool closes before I try to do this again. But the good news is that the pool closes, in September. So, maybe sometime in October, and it hasn't been too terribly cold in October in recent years. So I could probably do it in October, and that would be cool in the garden. But I don't have to only do it in the garden. I mean, I could do a meet and greet anywhere. I mean, I could have like a little get together over at Curran's Bar, and just we can all be in a section or something like that, or I could do it at any, well, not any place that I've been to, because some of the places I've been to, it takes a while to walk to them, and you got to go through a lot of like heavy wooded areas. So, but yeah, I'd say if I do it in the garden again, it'll probably be more so like late September or early October. Now that I rambled on for that answer. But thanks for being here, Rose. I hope you're feeling well. It's been a minute since I've seen you, actually, now that I think about that. Well, Rose, you have an open invitation. Any given Sunday, you want to go there, you just let me know ahead of time. I'll come by, I'll pick you up. I know where you live. And I'll take you over to the garden and I'll show you. You'll get your own little personal tour. Cool. That made me laugh. I mean, there was a lot of nervous laughter on my part. Um, I don't know. I had so many conversations. It's hard to say. Um, I mean, everything was like super interesting and super important to me. I mean, I talked to so many different people about so many different things, locations, um, about the garden itself, about the Serobia, the history of the Logans, different locations. It was requested by one of the people there, that I show everybody where the underground that I had found, like the part of the underground that I found, like where it was. I did not do that only because, um, it was pretty muggy out, and I'm sure not everybody was like keen to just walking further away from the garden just to look at something. Excuse me. Oh my god. Just to look at something that's not there. I think that's also the rice because I had Chinese food leftovers. It's not just a beer. Yeah, Rose. Come on now. You think I wouldn't do that for you? Yeah, I didn't get to see the snake this time around, but apparently coming out of the pond, there was a snake just chilling on the rocks, which they do. Do. Okay, my immature sense of humor came out there. Um, Last year, I saw quite a few snakes in the pond where, I mean, just little garter snakes, and they just come out and they sun themselves on the rocks, and it's cool. I saw that. You know what? I'm sure he was because he's like, "Hey, oh wow, I didn't know there was so much history about this place that I'm just chilling at." Yeah, the snake was there again this morning. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out. I'm not bringing that comment up, Tom. But I'll probably see the snake at some point during this week. I do know I had talked to my boss last week, so hopefully tomorrow I will actually not even be at the Chamonix State Park. Hopefully tomorrow, me and one of my other coworkers will be at the other park, Benjamin Rush State Park, and we'll be mowing because it's been 2 weeks since we mowed, and as I've mentioned before, it's got to be two guys every 2 weeks for 2 days, and that gets the entire park done. Now there are some areas of that park that we have not yet mowed this year, and now because of that, due to time restraints and rain and stuff like that. But now, because of that, the grass is too high to go through there with mowers because it'll ruin the blades. So now it has to have a tractor go through it. And I think I was talking about that. I think I rambled just a little bit while I was doing my little lecture about Ben Rush. But the rest of the stuff, everything else we mowed, and some of the stuff we didn't mow that's like not real wide, I could probably get with the mowers. But hopefully for the next 2 days, I will be at Ben Rush. The rest of the crew, if we're allowed to do that, will be busy trying to get the pool ready and everything in the pool. And yeah, pretty much. They'll have what they call thrashers on the back of the tractor, but maybe they're called slashers. I don't know. I don't know much about the big tractors because I haven't driven them yet. But so you need 13 people to start a cult. When is Nallyism or Tomology? Wait, why not combine Tom and Nally? Tomonology. Tomonology. It'll be like the next Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. That would be cool. The Church of Tom's World. No, I can't do that. That's not me. But but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a very cool day, and I was so happy to see everybody there. As I said earlier, I apologize to anybody that I did not get to talk to, um, and I'm going to do this again, so don't worry. Um, since I've already done the lecture and everything like that with this one, maybe the next one it could be just a straight up hangout. Like, I mean, anybody can come up to me and ask me questions about stuff. Maybe I'll limit time, with people a little more, um, and then anybody that wants to talk further can still hang out afterwards. Like, maybe I'll say between this hour and that hour, I'm going to limit conversations to like five to 10 minutes tops, um, or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it all out, But I consider yesterday to have been a success because it was very cool, and everybody that was there, I appreciated being there. You guys inflated my ego like you would not believe, and while I was doing my talk, it almost seemed like everybody was hanging on every word, which was awesome. But I was still super nervous even as I was talking. Become a Tomonologist today. So we'll get Tom Cruise, because he's a Tom, why not? But hopefully you all of everybody that was there, if you happen to be here watching, hopefully you all had a good time. Hopefully you all love seeing the garden. I know a lot of you said that you do go to see the garden on a regular basis or an irregular basis, and hopefully I was entertaining enough in person. Um, Again, I was super nervous, so you gotta give me a little leeway for that. Next time, I'll be a little better. And by the time next time rolls around, I'll be on the other side of 2,000 subscribers because last I looked, I was at 1,992 subscribers. So I am now definitely just 8 subscribers away from 2,000. Does that mean anything on YouTube? No. They don't care about 2,000. They care about 100. They care about 1,000. Then the next thing they care about is 100,000. So I'm a little far off from that, but you know, it's still it was it'll be just as good next time, if not better. Now that you're getting popular, how do you cope with negative feedback or people being nasty? I had a guy on Instagram say I was a really nasty person because I didn't reply to his weird messages. Well, I don't get a whole lot of negative feedback. Most of the negative feedback that I get is on, like, when I do a video. Say I do it at the garden, I will post it in all the different Ben Salem groups and the Croydon groups, which I know means nothing to you, Kate, living in Chicago, but they're the local areas there. But I tend to not pay attention to the Facebook messages that are negative. I will go and I'll like every single message except for those. But on my YouTube, I don't get many negative comments. I think I've had a very small handful of comments since I started over 4 years ago, um, on the actual YouTube itself. But should I get them? That's how I would handle them. You know what I mean? I mean, if it's an opinion thing, then that's cool. You can have your own opinion. Everybody's entitled to it. And you know what they say: opinions are like a holes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. Um, but uh, for the most part, everybody's been very supportive, and I appreciate that. Yeah, Gallo has 1,500. I have more. I'm just saying. Yo, what's up, Rob? Yeah, it was a pretty cool time yesterday, man. I wish I could have made it out. Would have been cool. I will get there. I will. I know. No one cares, Kate. Oh, about her question about the negativity. No, I mean, I don't really care about the negativity. I mean, like I said, everybody's entitled to have their own opinion. I feel like I got something in the back of my seat here. No. because it was just my shirt buttons, you know. Oh, I got you. No, I thought you meant like nobody cares about the negativity. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. No worries, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, I try. That's what I try to put out. You know, I try to put out positivity. Um, I may not always be 100% accurate on my facts, only because I'm getting them from the internet. You know, and if somebody knows more than I do, they are always welcome to correct me in the comments. They don't have to be mean about it. They can just say, "Oh, by the way, you had said this, but it's actually that." And then I can say, "Well, thank you." You know, I'll know if I ever go back there again. I can make sure I say the right things. Yeah, Dom's cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was informative to me as well because I got a lot of stories from people about different places. A lot of reminiscing of the past with some people, um, talking about past videos and stuff like that. Talking you know, there was even somebody there who I had known when my son was a baby, who worked with his grandmother, and you know, it was cool seeing her. And I still say I know you from somewhere else. I just can't put my finger on it. I mean, maybe you just look like somebody else I knew. I don't know, but duh, duh, always, man. Molson. I always have 2 beers on my live feed. In case things get out of control, I always have a third beer. So I have 2 extra. Well, I have the beer I'm drinking now and then 2. If I don't drink the third one, then that one goes back in the fridge, and then I take out another one. Because Dom, if you're still up for it, and Kate, if you're up for it, we can do some golf tonight, later on BB3 TV. So if everybody wants to see an uncensored version of Tom, and playing a little golf game that we play, you could catch us on BB3 TV on Facebook and YouTube. So on YouTube, it's just youtube.com/the @BB3TV. Or on Facebook, it's facebook.com/BB3TV. No live firing. I'm telling you, that's not. I don't want to get into it here. We'll just say PR, man. PR is key, and it's very important. That's all I'll say. All right, Kate's on board. I just have to reach out to. I know Joe was here in the beginning. He hasn't said a damn thing since the beginning. So Joe, if you're still here, let me know. And we'll have to get in touch with Nick and see if he would like to join as well. I think I downloaded a couple of new maps for the golf. I can always download more. No, dude. What's up, Patricia? How you doing? I really don't think we should do that, Don. It'll be bad for the future. So let's see what else. Oh, I did mention. Oh wait, I missed the question. What do we got here? Getting stitches. Oh, stitches out from your face. Oh, you're getting that thing. All right, cool. Everything's cool, man. You're getting all that taken care of. I did say something about golf. If you could, while I'm on here, if one of you, either you or Kate, could reach out to you. You had me muted. How dare you? How dare you? You need to listen. Look, I listen to you. I'm just kidding, man. But see, I get these squirrel moments I've mentioned before. But yeah. Anyway, look, I am far more important than scripted sports. I'm just saying. She was on here. Let me go look right here. See, she was on here. She was commenting. I think she's probably tuned out, which is cool. You know, I mean, I see that the numbers of viewers have gone down a little bit, just by a few. But I mean, in all fairness, it is time to be cleaning up dinner and stuff like that. So, I am right-handed, but you see, the reason why the beer is being drank with the left hand is because the right hand is on the mouse, so that I can click on the comments and bring them up like this. That'd be her. Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, consumed. Okay. Drank, drunk, consumed. Consumed. But I definitely had a great time yesterday, despite how nervous I was. Despite how long it took. Like I said, I got there at 12:30. It took me an hour to get everything ready. I set up. So, all right, here's another thing. I got two things. One, I did intend on making a video of the day, so I filmed like the intro and stuff like that. And then my intent was, I brought my tripod. I was going to set it up in the far corner so that you couldn't make out anybody's faces or anything, so that way nobody gets offended for being on a video. And just like show everybody standing around the little pond while I was talking, and you can see my arms moving and stuff, maybe some music, and then do a wrap up. But I got so caught up in things that I never filmed anything past the intro. So there's no video of the meetup. So maybe next time I can do that. And the other thing I'll get to momentarily. Don't worry, man. We'll get there. I just wore like jeans and a black t-shirt, and of course, Tom's were. Oh God, it's dirty again. I just cleaned all that off. Well, my worst fear went in two different directions with that. One would be that nobody showed up. The other side was that like 100 people would show up, and then I'd really be nervous. What dirty hat talk? Well, yeah, there'll be a hole in one somewhere. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, and for anybody that's left here that was there yesterday, I said I was going to bring up the pictures that I do have of Serobia. I gathered some together, and I'm going to bring them up. Now, these are pictures of pictures, so I use my cell phone to take pictures. So sometimes you'll see my hand in there. I'll try to not do that much. Let's see. Here we go. So this here, let me bring that up so I can see it. Okay, so now I can zoom in on it. This here is the barn. So now if you look here on the right side of the tree on the right, you can see a little bit of a building. That's the building that's still there to this day. And keep in mind, right now I can't see any comments, so I won't be able to reply to any until I click back to the window. But this here is the barn. This burned down in the 90s, and this picture was probably taken around that time, just before it burned down. Now you'll see that these windows are all boarded up down here on the left next to the stairs, but also past those windows on the left, you got this tree between those and this thing on the right that has like some bush in front of it, and there's like little windows there. Keep that in mind, as well as these windows to the left, because in the next picture, you'll see, there's my hand. You'll see the windows are not boarded up, And these actually have glass panes in them. And that little bush that was down there is even smaller there. So this is also the barn. So the second floor of the barn was converted into a theater so that when the Logans had their friends over who were actors, singers, whatever, they'd be able to perform for everybody if they wanted to. Again, can't see comments. So this is the carriage house, which this house attached to the wall of the garden. And then this is the greenhouse that would come out from the back of that and then down towards that brick trail that goes across here. You can barely make it out right there. And the greenhouse looks a lot bigger than it actually was in person. But that little pond is inside of this greenhouse. And I mean, this was awesome looking. It really was. So now this would be the front of the mansion. Before they put extensions on it, basically, because there was more extensions that went on the right at some point. So what you'd be looking at now is the part that faces away from the garden. The garden was pretty much their backyard. And I don't have a year on this. Yeah, no, there's no year on the picture. I also mentioned that in the back of the garden on the left side, there's a tree that has this brick platform in front of it. And it used to have a bench on it. And the bench had two concrete, they were either sphinxes or I don't know what they were. But this was one of them. And this one is actually in that little building that still exists today. I contemplated opening the door to show people, but like I didn't want people to be, feel encouraged to go inside because the floor is not safe in that place. It's falling apart, which is why the boss got rid of the stairs. So now here, you can see the extensions that they put on to the mansion. And you can barely make it out, but there's a cat right here. There's always a cat in the picture when you see pictures of Sorovia because they had tons of them. And this right here was the gatehouse that stood out by Winks Lane. And I did a video of what was left of this. And there's a well off to the left of where it was that's still in the ground, but it's filled in. A lot of wells in this place. That's the same picture. So here's a picture of the garden from probably like the 80s, 70s, 80s maybe. And you can see the wall fountain right there. And you can see all this stuff just growing wild here. And you can see I guess that's the building that's still there, I think. Or that could be the barn. It's hard to tell. Same picture. Now this is what it looked like probably about like 6 years ago, somewhere in there. They had the reflecting pond completely dug out, but then they did fill it in because they thought it was a safety hazard. People might trip and fall in there. But you can clearly see how deep it is. And let me look back at comments real quick. No comments. Cool. That's all right. That just means everybody's interested in the pictures. That makes me happy. All right. Some various pictures of the garden here and there. Again, here's the reflecting pool. You can see that the paths are starting to get overgrown here. You can see the hedges back there. There were hedges all over the place. So in the very back right here, it's hard to make out, but that's the wall fountain. And that would make these going across here the playing cards. There were hedges that separated the two. And there were hedges that separated different parts of the garden. And you can see the hedges there as well. This picture is sideways, so kind of turn your head a little. Let's see what else we got here. More random pictures of the garden. Again, the hedges. You can see, I believe that there are parts of this right here next to Playmasters. I think it's just like in pieces. And I've included that in the videos as well that I've done. I think it was in the video that I did. That's in a couple of them, actually. But I think it was in the one I did of Blossom Farley's Tower. Now, here is the sign that used to stand out by Winks Lane. This is Sorovia, a sanctuary for human beings, birds, and animals. Please respect it. Robert R. Logan. That hangs in the Historical Society of Bensalem. Here's a painting somebody did of the mansion. Somebody named Jonah Krasnansky. That's something like that. Was definitely a beautiful place. Now here, here we could see Robert and Sarah Logan dressed in some strange attire. Now they I don't know if this was religious for them or not, because they did follow a certain religion, and I believe it was traced back to like India or something like that. After they had spent some time there, they adopted this religion, and that actually had them get rid of all their servants and stuff like that. And then they never wore clothes that were made from animals, not even wool or anything like that, I don't think. Definitely not leather, even though he is clearly wearing sandals, and they have a shine to them, but this would be fake leather. There was somebody local that he knew that made that for him. Here again is another painting from the same person. This one's in color. And you can see the different tones of the buildings. You know, you had the original building of the mansion, and then you had the add-ons. This, now you're going to have to keep this one in mind. This red bird here, because there is a picture, and I think I have it in here somewhere, that has Robert Logan in it, and he's in front of one of his fireplaces, or it might be the one where he's in the dining room and he has the plate display case behind him, or whatever you want to call it, china closet, whatever it is, china cabinet, I think it is. And that is in that picture. Again, here's another picture of the barn. There's another one that is also in that picture, I believe. When we get to it, there's another picture of the sign. Here is Robert and Sarah as part of the religion that they took on. Cats were held in high regard in this religion, so they wound up having a lot of cats. They were animal lovers, despite that religion that they joined. And I think, I'm not sure, but this car in the background might be Robert Logan's Rolls Royce. And if it is, even though you can't see it because his head's in the way, he had a giant golden owl as his hood ornament. Like, it was crazy. Now this is Robert Logan in the garden. Now look right here. Here's that concrete thing that I said that was part of the bench, and it was on top of the brick platform, which you could see right there. There it is. There was two of them, and one of them still exists. This is Robert Logan and his secretary after Sarah had passed away. Was there anything going on between them? We don't know. Can only speculate. Yeah, see, and his secretary working in the formal gardens at Sorovia. Now this right here is the structure that's right next to the chessboard. And you can clearly see that it's a sundial right then, because it has this thing on it. I forget what that's called. But this was carved by Robert Logan himself. And I've featured that in quite a few videos. And in the earlier videos, I actually focus on the things in the corners, because there's little things carved in there, like little Egyptian symbols and stuff like that. And there's even an owl face in one of the corners. But that was Virginia Bailey. Don't know who this is. I don't know if the next photo shows the back, but there was a dog. And here's the steps. Let's see. It just says 1935. Wow, look at those arm hairs. It's weird. Maybe the next picture says who this is. That's definitely not Sarah. Anita Henkel in front of Sorovia. Whoever Anita Henkel is, I don't know. Black and white picture of the garden, when definitely in need of some manicuring. But you can see there were statues and things in there, little pots. And here's the reflecting pond, or reflecting pool. There's Humpty Dumpty up there. Barely make him out. And that was from 1946. Here's another young couple in front of the main doors. There's Humpty before he deteriorated. Hmm. See, now I was talking to somebody and they had said that they feel that the tower was like right outside the garden. This, while it does look like a tower, that's not it. It was tall. Like I know this place very well, and the person I talked to knows it very well as well. If you were standing here taking this picture, if that was the tower, it would have come up to here, like up to this branch right here, because it was 4 stories tall. So that right there is not the tower. Although I could see how it would easily be mistaken for it. What else was I just going to look at? I don't know. I was just looking at something and I thought, man, that's weird. Okay, well, we'll move on. That's the same picture. A picture from the garden. It's hard to tell, but this is the chessboard. And I think this picture might be flipped. I think it is. And I don't know if I can flip it. All right, no, it's gonna. Oh, maybe I can. Let's see. No. Okay, never mind. So you'll just have to use your imagination to flip this. So this is the corner of the chessboard, and you can tell because you can faintly see the squares right there, and that's got to be. And there's like a little flamingo thing there. And I say that this is flipped because the taller part of the house is off to the left, and it should be the other way around. It's a confusing picture because apparently the mansion didn't go down that far. So, as I was told, but I don't know. Not sure who these people are. It's really weird because this guy in the middle kind of reminds me of Jack Maar, the guy who was part of the founding people of the Bensalem Historical Society and also grew up next door to Sorovia. Here's Robert Logan with one of his cats, mansion in the background. Let me go check some comments here. Oh, I did get some comments. So let's see. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Okay, I know somebody's messaging me, but they have to wait. People would only trip if they had to. True. And you know what? Speaking of that, there are a lot of people that go around the park and they just have their faces in the phone and they're walking. What is the point of being in the park if you're going to do that? You could just like walk on a treadmill or something. You know, you don't need to be at a park and not paying attention and being in my way while I'm trying to take care of the park. I'll check that out after I get done, Dal. Hey, Suzanne, welcome back. Yeah, it was definitely Indian. It was an Indian type religion. I just can't remember what it was called. Hey, man, that's fine. It's not going to be the last one. You know, there'll be plenty of time. Well, it's not all gone, Patricia. A lot of it is. The year that the park became a state park, well, Robert Logan died in the mid 50s, like 56, 57, maybe. I think it was 56. And in his will, he left the land to the state to make it into either a park or some kind of learning place for kids. But most of all, he wanted the greenery, we'll say, of the place to remain mostly. And it didn't officially become a park until I think it was sometime in the early to mid 70s when it opened. So yeah, that's when that happened. All right, let me go back to the pictures here. see. Now we have here Sarah Logan, right here. Is it just me, or does it look like her left eye is looking straight up and her right eye is looking straight up and her left eye is looking left? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And apparently some friend. Scary looking picture, I guess. I think this is also Sarah. So Sarah and Robert, for those of you wondering about the name Sarobia, if you hadn't heard me say it before, it was a combination of their names, Sarah and Robert. So Sarob. So they just took out the extra R and then added the IA at the end of it, Sarobia, which is how they got the name of their land. Another picture of the mansion. Looking at the front of it, so the garden would be behind this. View of Sarobia, 1946. This is looking at the side of the house, the side of the mansion. So behind us would be that long row of pine trees. Then they become a circle, and that's where that other sundial was that is currently in the garden next to the chessboard. Another cat, Sarah Logan. Obviously getting older here. Robert Logan with another cat. And then there's that. That's the owl face right there. It's kind of hard to tell because you can only see half of it. But we can see the left half of it. But that he carved that out of rock. Another sundial he had multiple. He loved sundials for whatever reason. Now this is him in front of one of his fireplaces. This is not the one I was talking about where I said remember the birds, the white one and the red colored one. But this, you can tell clearly by his face, this was after his stroke, which I think he had a couple. And they eventually ended up with him in a wheelchair. This is from a postcard, actually. This is the side of the house, I think. And, of course, a cat. And, like, a little lion's face right there. I don't know if the next picture will show what the year this was, but you can see how deep the snow was. It gets pretty cold here. And it used to snow a lot. Another fireplace within Sarobia's mansion. Not the one I was talking about, but what's really weird, if you look at this, it looks like a face, doesn't it? Like a monster. And this was probably before his stroke, I would say. And a statue of a cat, of course, because they loved cats. This is the barn. And again, there's those windows I was talking about, the little windows. I don't think that's the Rolls Royce. No, it doesn't look like a Rolls Royce. At one point, I thought this was Blossom Farley, and he was just dirty from working on the farm, but I've been corrected about that. There's the tower. Look at that. Now, here's my train of thought. That building that still exists in the garden is behind you. Oops, in this picture, okay? The path that leads to the bathroom is just off to the left of here, which just on the left, that might be the Rolls Royce there. So if you were standing right there where the barn is and you're looking there and you see the tower, clearly see the tower right there, that would be across from where the bathrooms are right now, which is why I started thinking that from this picture right here. Another picture of the part of the house that would face State Road, basically. And another 1937. Robert Logan with a cat, of course, doing something. Robert and Sarah. Apparently, Sarah didn't wear bras, but that's okay. Whatever makes you comfortable. Oops, and I just totally closed that window. Let me bring that back up. And let me find where I was here. All right, I got it. Let me bring it back up on here. Present, share screen. Hey, Mike, what's going on? And Morpheus, what is going on? Um, Looking at the other comments. James, what's up? It was awesome seeing you too, man. Let me bring up my picture screen here. Is there any old aerials of the layout of the Chamonix State Park during the Logan's time? Yes. You could go to historical aerials, I think it is. You can just look up historical aerial photos and you'll find a couple sites. And you can go back to then as long as it's between, we'll say, 1930 and 1955. You'll see it as the Logans owned it. Problem being, there's a lot of tree cover, so you're not going to see it all, but you will see some of it. All right, let me go back to here. Robert Logan with a statue of a monkey, and of course, a cat. I want to say this is Robert Logan as a baby. I think the next, yeah, Robert Logan, 18 months old in 1876. 1876. This is when he lived and grew up at Stenton Mansion in the Logan section of Philadelphia, named for his family. This, all right. So I think this bird right here is that red one that we saw in the pictures. I'm pretty sure. I don't see the white one. There's an owl right there and a cat, of course. Now this display case behind him, that came from the house that he grew up in Stenton Mansion in the Logan section of Philadelphia. And I believe right now it is back there again. They managed to procure it. They don't own it, but they were able to put it right back in the same position that it was in Robert Logan's life. Again, you can see this probably post-stroke, but he was still a very, very nice, very generous man. Now, this clock, was that in the other picture? No, it's not. It's a grandfather clock. This clock was shown to me by the people at the Historical Society. We were there and we were talking about it, and I was being so adamant about everything. And they're like, we have one of their clocks here. And they brought it down, and it was wrapped in all this tissue paper and bubble wrap. You could see the bubble wrap right down here. And it was all taped up. And dude took out a knife. I was like, no. You don't have to open it. I didn't want him to damage it. But he's like, no, it's fine. So I actually, and this is a little bit of a fanboy thing going on, I actually got to touch this clock. I said, I have touched something that belonged to Robert Logan. How about that? And the key to wind up the clock is still inside the little compartment at the bottom there. But it dare not ever be wound up. And there it is being held up for me. How about that? One of Robert Logan's clocks. And this was, there you go, historicaerials.com. You'll have all these watermarks all over it, but you'll see. Another shot of the mansion. This is another shot of Robert Logan with his secretary. I think this is the one I might have flipped. Because you could see these little trails going off behind the secretary and then in front. They weren't on any hand-drawn map that we had in the garden when we were digging up the path. I said, wait a minute, there's no trails there. Sure enough, there are, and I dug them up as far as they went. Robert Logan standing by the brick sundial, which the volunteers have put a new thing on top in recent years. This is Deborah, his daughter. Tragic story with her, and I told everybody during the meet and greet. She went through a lot of hard times, and she wound up being in Friends Hospital, which is a mental hospital for those of you not from the area. And sadly, she took her own life while she was there, made her way out of her room in the middle of the night with a bed sheet, hung herself in the basement. Very sad. And this is another picture, again, that we've already seen. Another picture of Sarah and Robert with a cat. I feel like, no, we're not. Now, this is interesting. There we go. This right here is Robert Logan carving that one sundial that I said that he carved out of stone. So this is him carving it at his in-laws' house, which I believe is currently Holy Family College over at Frankfurt Ave and Grant Ave. I believe that was their last name was Wetherill, Rill. I believe they were pretty well known. This is him still carving it. Sideways picture of the mansion, which we probably already saw. My nasty thumb, and more of the mansion there. Now here you can see the side of the greenhouse. I mean, it looks super long. It really does. But it could not have been unless that other path was made after they took that out. And in the upper left, you can see the corner of the mansion up there. On the right, that's the carriage house. And that, my friends, is the last picture that I have. There are far more pictures over at the Historical Society that I did not take pictures of. Someday I have to get back there and I have to go back through those binders of pictures because I want more pictures of the tower. I want to pinpoint exactly where it was. I want to find out who's right. Am I right? Are the others right? I don't know. But I'm hoping I'm right because I would like to have that. Let's see what we got here. Kind of, yeah, a little bit. Their pictures are a little creepy. What's up, Mike? Yeah, definitely great talking to you. Let's see. And I answered that. Another name that starts with J in my group. I can't see the picture very well to try to make that. Try to make that connection. No, actually, they're buried out in California because they had another house out there. That was actually their main house. Serobia was bought for them by Sarah's parents as a wedding gift. That was supposed to be their vacation house, but then it wound up becoming their main house. And it's just how it went, But like they liked it there better, and I can't blame them because it really is a beautiful place. Ah. So you know me as Walking Unright. Not that anybody really calls me by my unright name. But I got you. Well, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. But yeah, that was my little picture show of the history that I have. There's, like I said, there's far more pictures, and I do got to get there. I just haven't had the time because they're only open like 2 days a week from like I don't know, obscure hours. And I mean, if I contact them and I ask them to be there, they'll let me know if they can be there, and they'll meet me, and I can take as many pictures as I need to. It's just a matter of reaching out to them. I love history too, and the funny thing is, as a kid, I couldn't stand it. I thought, what the hell do I need to know what happened before? I'm worried about right now. But now if you go back and you watch videos on my channel, I'm all about it. That's a good question. That is a very good question, and I do not know the answer. I never even researched where their home was. So I don't know, but it's something to occupy my time, during the week, and instead of sitting here watching mindless YouTube videos of people playing video games or scaring people or whatever, maybe I could start looking that up, see if I can find where it was, see if it's still there. That would be cool. If I ever make it out to California, I got to find out exactly where they're buried because I have to pay my respects to them. Absolutely. Now, I feel that when I'm in the garden, they're there with me. I do. Am I a paranormal person? Not in the least. But I gotta believe we go on in some form, in some way. And if we do, I feel that they are there more than they are anywhere else. Beechwood Cemetery. Ben Salem Boulevard in Huneville. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right near where the old mill is, right? Like it's like right before it. Like if you were going, like say you were coming from Street Road and you went up Huneville, before before you hit the bridge that goes um, over Neshaminy Creek, it would be on your right side, right? I'm sure there's got to be people in there. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind. Well, you're gonna be crap out of luck, man, because I'm gonna be ending this real soon. Because I do got to take care of trash, and if we're gonna play golf, it's 8:45. Um, yeah, that would have been great, and I'm sure they would have loved it. But I guess they wanted to be with their family, especially their daughter, because I believe she was buried out there too. Sid and Bunny, the heck is Sid and Bunny? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. It's like on the same side of Humeville as the mill, but it's before it. Um, I've thought about going in there, and people have mentioned that I should just like do cemetery videos where I just walk around cemeteries, but some of them are really, really big. Sid and Bunny Shore. Huh. I never knew it had a name. uh, I wasn't even making that connection. That's funny. Um, but yeah, so thank you for everybody that did come out. For those of you that weren't able to make it out to the meet and greet, no need to worry. It'll happen again at some point. And we'll see if we can get more people together, and maybe we'll actually do a walking tour because, if I do it again, and I will, it'll be in cooler weather. As I was telling my aunt earlier, she was on here. I don't think she's still on here. Um, but I'll do it in cooler weather, so we're not getting the oppressive heat and mugginess and everything. And then I can actually walk everybody around and show them where everything was, and I can show where I think the tower was, and maybe by then I'll actually know definitively. Who knows? So, and that'll probably be more in the beginning of the fall, and that way we can all just be wearing hoodies or whatever, and we'll be comfortable. Um, and I think that'll be fun. But for now, I am going to get going because, as I mentioned, I do have some things I got to take care of here. I got to get the trash out and all that, and I do plan on playing golf with my friends tonight. So if you wanted to see that, once again, you could see it at youtube.com/the @ So it's a slash and then the @ like email, like at blah blah blah. So it'll be at BB3TV. Or you could just go to facebook.com/BB3TV and check it out there. Be forewarned, I will be cursing because it does get very frustrating playing that. But and absolutely hit that thumbs up button right down there if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching it on Facebook, hit the like button. Make sure that you go to my merch shop. The link for that will be in the description. Should be in the description whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. But if you just go to any one of my YouTube videos, you'll find the link in there for my merch shop. Go check it out. Get yourself some Tom's World gear. You can always support the channel by sharing out videos, sharing out the channel itself. When I do lives, you can do a super chat or a super sticker. Or when you're just watching a video, there's like a super thanks button down here. And if you don't see it down there, there's like a little button over here that has like 3 dots on it. It'll be in there. And you could donate whatever, $2, $50 million, whatever you want to, it's all good. But, and yeah, and I will, bringing this up, yep, and like the video. And I guess I will be seeing you all soon, or rather, you'll be seeing me soon. I'll be talking to you soon on the next live feed. In the meantime, wait for the next video. I have a couple of ideas. I can't talk tonight. I have a couple of ideas of places to go to, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to do next, but it should be coming up soon. So keep an eye out for that. And I guess I will talk to you all later. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.